The Galactic Military Academy's training ground stretched endlessly under three alien suns, its crystalline surface reflecting the diverse array of cadets from across the known galaxy. Among them stood Marcus Chen, the lone human representative, his standard-issue combat gear looking almost primitive compared to the advanced technological suits worn by his alien counterparts. Cadet Zixthara, a towering Vorthakian with chitinous armor naturally grown from his exoskeleton, sneered down at the human with all four of his compound eyes. The insectoid alien's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. "Look at the soft skin," Zixthara announced to his cluster of admirers, his voice carrying the characteristic buzz of his kind. "No natural weapons, no armor plating, no enhanced reflexes. How did such a pathetic species even discover space travel?" The gathered aliens, a mix of silicon-based crystallians, the energy-manipulating Psi-Lords and several hulking Brutarians, joined in the mockery. Their various forms of laughter created a cacophony that echoed across the training field. Marcus remained silent, his hands steady as he checked his equipment. He had heard worse during his 3 months at the Academy. The human admission to the Galactic Alliance was still controversial, with many species considering Earth's inhabitants to be nothing more than aggressive primitives who had stumbled into faster-than-light travel through sheer luck. "I heard humans can't even regenerate lost limbs," continued Zixthara, his confidence growing with the crowd's approval. "One serious injury and they're crippled for life. And their lifespan? Barely a century. My grandmother is 3,000 years old and still active in combat. Instructor Veltar, a wise old Mindarian whose telepathic abilities made him ideal for training diverse species, materialized beside them with his characteristic shimmer of displaced spacetime. His ancient face, weathered by millennia of experience, showed no emotion as he addressed the group. "Today's exercise is simple," Veltar announced, his words appearing directly in each cadet's mind regardless of their species' communication method. "Survival training in the Crucible Zone. You will be dropped individually into a hostile environment. Your goal is to reach the extraction point within 72 standard hours. You may use any skills, abilities, or equipment at your disposal." The Crucible Zone was notorious throughout the Academy, a pocket dimension containing the most dangerous elements from a dozen different worlds. Gravity fields that shifted without warning, predatory creatures that could phase through solid matter, and environmental hazards that had claimed the lives of even experienced soldiers. Zixthara's mandibles clicked with anticipation. "Finally, a chance to show these instructors what real evolution looks like," he boasted, flexing his razor-sharp claws. "My people have conquered 17 star systems through pure biological superiority." Marcus said nothing, but his fellow cadets noticed him removing several items from his standard kit. His emergency beacon, his energy shield generator, even his environmental suit's climate control system. To the alien cadets, it looked like the human was preparing to commit suicide. "The human is already giving up," laughed a crystallian whose body resonated with harmonic frequencies. Typical soft-skin behavior. One by one, the cadets were transported into the Crucible Zone. Marcus was the last to go, and as the familiar tingle of the transport beam enveloped him, he heard Zixthara's final taunt. "Try not to die too quickly, primitive. I want to see how long your human ingenuity lasts." The Crucible Zone materialized around Marcus, a nightmare landscape of floating rocks, acid rain, and creatures that defied conventional physics. The gravity shifted every few minutes, sometimes pulling him toward the jagged ceiling, sometimes pressing him into the caustic ground. What the alien cadets didn't understand about humans was that they had evolved on a death world. Earth, with its violent weather patterns, tectonic instability, and countless predators, had forged a species that thrived on adaptability rather than specialization. While other species had evolved specific advantages for their stable homeworlds, humans had learned to survive in chaos. Marcus began to move through the zone with a fluid grace that would have surprised his mockers. When the gravity reversed, he used his removed equipment as anchors and pivot points. When acid rain fell, he found shelter under rock formations and waited patiently for it to pass. When phase creatures attacked, he didn't try to fight them with superior firepower. He studied their patterns and found ways to avoid them entirely. On the second day, he encountered Zixthara. The Vorthakian was trapped beneath a collapsed rock formation. His natural armor cracked and his breathing labored. Several of his limbs were crushed, and the regeneration that his species was so proud of was failing due to the zone's toxic environment. Human, Sixthera wheezed as Marcus approached. Leave me. Your kind has no reason to help. Marcus knelt beside the alien and began examining the rock formation. Actually, I do, he said quietly, wedging his emergency beacon under the rocks as a lever. It's called being human. For the next 6 hours, Marcus worked to free the Vorthakian, using every piece of equipment he had removed from his kit in ways their designers never intended. The energy shield generator became a cutting tool. The climate control system became a medical stabilizer. Each piece of useless human technology was repurposed with the kind of creative thinking that had allowed his species to survive everything their homeworld could throw at them. When they finally reached the extraction point together, with Marcus supporting the wounded Vorthakian, the other cadets stared in disbelief. Most of them had barely survived on their own, relying on their species' natural advantages. Several hadn't made it out at all and had required emergency rescue. Instructor Veltar's ancient eyes gleamed with something that might have been approval as he looked at the unlikely pair. Cadet Zixithera, the Mindarian said telepathically. I believe you had some observations about human capabilities. The Vorthakian, now fully healed by the Academy's medical systems, looked at Marcus with all 4 eyes showing a respect that hadn't been there before. I was wrong, Instructor. I judged by appearance rather than capability. And what did you learn about human evolution? Veltar pressed. Zixithera's mandibles clicked, but this time not in mockery. They didn't evolve to be the strongest or the fastest or the most specialized. They evolved to be the most adaptable. In a galaxy full of specialists, they're the ultimate generalists. Marcus smiled quietly. It wasn't the first time someone had underestimated humanity, and it wouldn't be the last. But maybe, just maybe, the galaxy was beginning to understand that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in natural armor or extended lifespans or regenerative abilities. Sometimes the greatest strength was simply refusing to give up, no matter what the universe threw at you. And that was very, very human.